Zamdani, of course, won the election. Madeline Hart says, can't believe how lucky I got with Zoran's election. My baby boy will enter daycare in March, just in time for it to be free. What did Zoran promise? For just a recap for anybody who wasn't paying attention, he did indeed promise free childcare for all New Yorkers aged 6 weeks to 5 years. That's the kind of policy, again, that like in a white country, you could have that and it would be okay. What's going to happen in New York, it's going to be so expensive because the government pays, the prices are all going to be jacked up and there's going to be a lot of fraud. It will be insanely expensive and they won't be able to afford it and the whole system will collapse. And on top of that, they're going to do city-owned grocery stores, government-owned grocery stores, which has never worked in the history of humanity. They recently were trying this somewhere else and it utterly failed. Kansas is the one I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure. It never works. And then you have nowhere to get food. And the plan to pay for all of this is, of course, we're just going to tax the rich people, right? And freezing rents also never works. Oh, and public transportation is going to be free, which again is super expensive. It wouldn't have appeal to people if it wasn't costly to take the subway. I do think they should try to make stuff as affordable as possible, obviously, but these tactics do not work. And it's like a 12-year-old's political platform. We're going to pay for your food. We're going to freeze your rent so your rent's cheaper. We're going to pay for your childcare. We're going to pay for your subway fare. And we're just going to tax rich people. Rich people will leave. They will leave. You know how I said the family here wants to leave Washington and move to like Idaho? I said, why? And then I heard because of property taxes are too high in Washington. And I just found out like what the property taxes are and like how much we're going to be saving. And it's like $5,000 a year, which is not an insignificant amount of money, but it goes to show like, oh, if we move to a different state, we can save $5,000 a year in taxes. Let's move. Let's pick up everything and move to save that $5,000, right? As long as you can take the whole family with you, $5,000 a year and rising. Yeah, it only gets worse as time goes on. So New York is going to like really go to hell while this guy's in charge. And I kind of am just like looking forward to watching it. To me, this feels different than like if Kamala had won, because Kamala would flood America with illegals. Somebody like Zamdani doesn't really have the ability to do that, although there's that other guy we looked at who was talking about using taxpayer money to pay for like asylum seekers' lawyer costs to fight deportations and shit like that. But anyway, it's going to do like really bad. And Zamdani's complaint was like identity politics focused. He said, we're going to tax white people. When he was asked about that on the news, we watched all these clips. They said, don't you think it's a little bit inflammatory to like explicitly say you're targeting white people? You know, he tried to do this thing where he said, oh, well, that's, no, it's just objectively, that's where the money is. Like, really, we're just taxing the rich people, but the rich people are white. So that's all. So we're just like, this is just reality. It's nothing against white people. But he knew exactly what he was doing, which is he was using the anti-white resentment as well as the white self-loathing of the shit libs to get elected. He knew that by just giving people just a little signal that, hey, we're going to get whitey. That could have been his campaign slogan and he would have still won. If his campaign slogan was get whitey, he still would have won the election. If anything, he would have won by more, because this is who his base is. Then this is the point. This is why I'm racist. This is why I don't want to live around non-white people, because this is what they do. This is what they vote for. This is how they feel. They're not offended. When Zoran said we're going to tax white people and he put that in his official platform, the voters, the liberal voters didn't say, oh my God, haven't you read the Civil Rights Act? You can't discriminate based on, oh my God, what are you doing? You can't do that. No, they were like, yes, get whitey. In a way, I'm glad, because they're going to get what they voted for, which is more poverty, bankruptcy. Pundits are unironically trying to blame Tucker and Fuentes for these people getting elected. And it's like, we knew 3 months ago, we knew 6 months ago Zamdani was going to get elected. What are you talking about? We're getting into that part now. This El Yacobi guy, by the way, is constantly shoved into my feed along with a bunch of other Zionists. He says Vivek Ramaswamy calls out the woke right and groypers, saying Republicans lost tonight because voters care about affordability, not the endless identity politics being pushed by the fringe right. So first of all, Vivek doesn't say anything about woke right or groypers. He just says we need to drop identity politics. Let's hear it from him, and then we'll discuss why neither party can ever possibly save us. And the only thing that can save us is white racism, pro-white racism.
We got our asses handed to us. Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's 2 key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number 1, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it. And number 2, cut out the identity politics. It doesn't suit Republicans. It's not for us. That's the woke left's game, not ours. We don't care about the color of your skin or your religion. We care about the content of your character. That's who we are.
Wow. Thanks, Martin Luther King. Never heard that one before. Oh man, content of the character. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't we try that? People unironically are trying to blame Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes for these people not getting elected, which is so dumb. First of all, like I said, we all knew Zamdani was going to be the next mayor months and months ago. We all knew that. But putting that aside, why the fuck would it be anybody's job to get you losers elected? Andrew Cuomo's a fucking loser. I've never liked that guy. The only thing he ever did in my life that I liked was when he said, I'm not perverted, I'm just Italian. And even then, I only liked it because it's funny. But I don't actually like guys who get into positions of power and then use it as leverage to get laid. I think that's gross, frankly. Sorry if that doesn't sound cool, but I think that's like a very bad sign for their character. And I feel the same way about Trump to a lesser degree, but I wish Trump was a little more of a righteous man, but it is what it is. People are like unironically saying it. I don't mean like necessarily Vivek, but this guy's trying to take what Vivek said and say, oh man, if it wasn't for the groypers, Cuomo would have won. Totally retarded. But then let's come back to what Vivek does say. We need to drop the identity politics. Really? Because the only bloc that didn't vote for Zoran Mamdani as a voting bloc was white people. It's not that there isn't a left-right dichotomy or that it's not a meaningful distinction. It's that neither party has the willingness to fix the problems. Yes, people do care about affordability. That's true. We've already discussed why the left's plan doesn't work. Why when you say we're going to give you everything for free and tax whitey, that doesn't work. Because whitey will just leave and you're going to run out of money and everything's going to collapse. And he's also going to like release more violent criminals on the street who are going to commit violent crimes and kill people. And it's going to be like a literal hell. New York is going to be such a shitty place to live like 4 years from now. It was 80% of young women. It was actually 50% of women, exactly 50. But that's still like enough to get elected because the other 50 was split amongst multiple candidates. And 50% of men. But the only group that was less than 50% was white people as a group. The reason the Republicans can't fix the affordability issue is because they also are unwilling to address the problems, which is all of these leeches, all the welfare shit, and like the mass immigration, which Republicans are not really dealing with, as we just saw in like the Thomas Massey thing, the H-1B thing. They still want legal immigration, even though people can't afford homes. The only way to make homes affordable is to have less people. Nothing else works, or more homes. That's it. Economics are actually really easy if you just accept that it's all supply and demand. Then it's like it becomes really obvious what needs to happen. Here's the voting demographics that I talked about, right? So this was posted yesterday. I was searching this morning to see if I could find better stats, but I couldn't really. So we'll go with this for now. Male, 50% voted Mamdani. Female, 50%. Actually, Oh, and then this must be the percentage of the total. So more women voted than men. So for young women, though, like voters, like what, I don't know what the bracket is, under 22 or 23 or whatever it is, 25. What is it, 18 to 25? Was that what they do, 24? It was 80% of young women who voted for the guy. You have to keep in mind those younger demographics are less white too. And then here's the racial one. And as you can see, if only blacks vote, Mamdani gets elected. Only Hispanics elected. Only Asians, you know, doing this because that's like you got the Jeets and like I don't know who else in there. And then other, whatever that means, mixed race, 5% of the voters. Still, he gets elected. The only racial block where he doesn't get elected is white people. White women love Zoran. No, I'm sick of this fucking slander. Again, and this is what Christina Pushaw said. We go through this every time. She said, you want to blame white girl bosses because they go viral posting their selfies. Right. And they go viral because people make fun of them and shit like that. But black women vote for Zoran way fucking more than white women. Muslim women, it's like 98%. It's like all of them. What I think is people are retarded and the GOP sucks. So the retards voted for the people who said they're going to give you free stuff. I think it's as simple as that. White college women, 80%. Post source or get banned. You have 2 minutes. Start the clock. Do you understand this fucking chart that says the only way you don't get a Mamdani mayor is if only white people vote? This is the enemy. Wretched, evil parasite, says Matt Walsh. Jennifer Welsh to Mehdi Hassan at Zoran's victory party. Americans have no culture except for multiculturalism. Crusty white people need to learn to embrace it.
If it was all white people here right now, it would be boring as shit. I've grown up in those.
Oh, she said it's all white people here right now and it's boring as shit. This is what I was talking about, the self-loathing types. The left, they pander to anti-white resentment, and the right refuses adamantly to pander to white people, which is the only alternative. So that's why they lose. That's why they lose, because they keep pretending like if we just pander to everybody who isn't white, we can beat the Democrats at their own game. When they say drop the identity politics, what they really mean is stop noticing that Indians smell bad and are scammers and don't wear shoes and have gross feet. Stop noticing that black people are massively on welfare and commit a ton of fucking crime and can't even speak English at third grade level, much less read. When they say stop, they mean stop noticing that your life could just be so much better if you didn't have all of these other cultures around. Gad Sad says, I see no evidence that people understand the existential threats facing our Western civilization. And then Elon Musk says, please publish your book as soon as possible. And I thought that was so funny. Please, Gad Sad, please save us. You guys, we're one more Gad Sad book away from defeating wokeness. Once these brown people who voted for Zoran Mamdani because they hate whites and they want free stuff, you know, once these orthopolycopuses or whatever, what was that thing from Murdoch? We democracy now. We democracy now. Once they read about suicidal empathy, wokeness is done, and we're gonna have such a based classical liberal paradise. We're just one more book and we will have classical liberal utopia forever.